All of our productions at GCTV are sponsored in part by Bay State Health, providing the care you and your family need when you need it close to home. Visit them online at baystatehealth.org. Greenfield Savings Bank. Visit them at 400 Main Street in Greenfield. Call them at 774-3191 or go online to greenfieldsavings.com. Greenfield Community College, providing access and excellence in higher education in the Pioneer Valley. Visit them at gcc.mass.edu. The Hammond Family. The Hammond family are longtime supporters of Greenfield Community Television. New Fortune Chinese Restaurant on the Mohawk Trail in Greenfield. Visit them online at newfortunema.com. Call them at 772-0838 and check them out on Facebook. Real Cleaning Services, cleaning Hampshire and Franklin County since 1972. We don't cut corners, we clean them. Check them out online at realclean.com. Call them at 413-422-1143. People's United Bank, located at 45 Federal Street in Greenfield. You can call them at 774-3713 or visit them online at peoples.com. The Solar Store of Greenfield, replacing fossil fuels and nuclear power one home at a time. Visit them at 23 Fisk Ave. Call them at 413-772-3122 or visit them online at solarstoreofgreenfield.com. Thank you to our sponsors for supporting all of GCTV's productions.
In the state has a Connecting Activity School to Career program, which is rooted in a regional employment board or workforce investment board. The primary goal of these programs is to connect schools and businesses in order to help high school students gain employability skills, especially through work-based learning experiences. In this region, the 14 public high schools who have signed on board to engage and work together in these goals, in support of these goals, is served by either Matt Rigney, Donna Dussel, taking pictures over there, or myself. In addition to collaborating with school staff, we also collaborate regularly with community organizations and a lot of people in the business community. Why? Because getting students career ready takes a village. I still have the drama. So is anyone in here already a part of that village? Helping youth, teens in some way getting more career ready? Yeah. I saw some Pioneer Valley Regional School Career Day participants and a lot of other folks. Okay, fantastic. So the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education really frames the school to career programs in very student-centered language, as it should. And of course, we're also deeply invested in the success of students. But I also want to assure you that we are also we're keenly aware of business needs. So when the employment needs of students and employers go hand in hand, when a young adult, right, is starting out into the workforce and they're lacking those interpersonal self-management and technical skills needed to meet basic employee expectations, that's a problem for them, and that's of course a problem for employers. Also a problem for a lot of parents out there. So in all seriousness, the number of young adults who are neither working nor engaging in getting additional education is big and it's growing really fast. So are significant skill gaps in healthcare, manufacturing, IT, some other STEM fields. So these skill gaps, along with the marked reduction in youth employment since the 90s and a lot of other data, strongly points towards the need for more mentorship in the workplace, really a much broader scale, possibly to the extent that youth mentorship is a part of businesses' ongoing recruitment strategy. That would be on top of everything that is and will be done in the education system and the workforce development system. So the School to Career program, this is my opportunity to point towards the catchy motto on your high quality and functional swag. So on the pen, thank you, on the pen and the notepad, under Franklin Hampshire Regional Employment Board School to Career Program, you'll read Guiding Youth to Their Career Path, Helping Employers Prepare Their Future Workforce. These two elements of our mission are highly interdependent. So the School to Career Program exists to help youth and employers connect and meet each other's employment needs. On that note, just to highlight a couple opportunities that might interest you. I'll be offering some free work-based learning plan workshops for employees. Work-based learning plans are a simple and elegant way to design internships and jobs, be explicit about expectations, and evaluate the performance and improvement of workers. Please add your name to the sign-up sheet if you're interested. There will be a speed interview activity for teens at the Greenfield Public Library on May 9th, where you could conduct mock interviews / do some initial screening of teen interns and employees. Please contact me if interested. My cards are there. Also, there are mini flyers for 14 to 17-year-olds in your life on that table. If these events aren't a fit, but you want to join the village, please let us know what could work for you by filling out a Yes to Youth form. Also, if there are things that we can do for you to help you become more ready to engage youth in your business, please reach out to us. I have no doubt that you'll be more inspired than ever to mentor youth after listening to the upcoming panelists. So in light of that segue, I ask you to accept my gratitude and attention. Gratitude for your attention and consideration today. Thank you.
Matt, I'm going to pass it to you first, if that's okay.
Amy Shapiro.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm going to just open this part of the panel up with just an overview of mentorship around for business owners. At the CDC, we see people who are starting businesses, exploring the idea, existing businesses, and sometimes they're just floundering. That might be something you might know about. You might have experienced that sometime. And it's very lonely. So when they come to us and we chat with them, and it becomes very clear that they would really benefit from a conversation with somebody who's been through it. Started a business, or sold a business, or just works for a large organization, but is a financially, works in financials or marketing, and that can actually have some information that transfers to a startup or an existing business. So we send them out to you. We send them out to the community to interview you, to research and develop an advisory team to help them, shepherd them through this daunting process. Sometimes that responsibility is meeting once a year, twice a year for dinner. Maybe it's just a phone call, but it's all mentoring. And I can't tell you enough how impactful that is. And so please be the recipient. Open yourself up to the opportunity. You'll benefit from it, you'll learn from it, and you'll feel the reward from watching that business grow over time and knowing you had a little piece of it. It's really pretty remarkable. So part of our conversation today is bridging the gap between youth mentorship and adult mentorship in business. So today we have a panel of 3 folks who have a lot to say about this topic. And please think about some questions you might have. If you've never thought of yourself as a mentor, this is an opportunity to think how you could fit into this. Matt Rigney, Alternative Youth Program Director from Collaborative for Education Services. Ruth Lessel, who is President of Zor Outdoor and the 2013 Entrepreneur of the Year. And Craig White, founder of Hillside Organic Pizza and co-founder of Inspire School and the 2014 Entrepreneur of the Year. So I'm going to start this off with Matt, and he's going to tell us what is unique about mentoring.
Thank you. I think I'm going to stand over here just so people can see me. So for 18 years, I've worked as in the school development, in the school to work workforce development programming that happens in Hampshire and Franklin County. So what I help schools do is provide opportunities for high school students and middle school students, but mostly high school students, to begin exploring the world of work. The transition from education to the world of work is one of the most profound and difficult transitions for young people to make. It's really tough if they have not had any kind of preliminary experience in which they can understand those worlds are actually pretty different. What is the percentage of students who begin a 2 or 4 year college who actually complete on time? Does anyone have an idea what that percentage is of students who actually complete on time?
30.
It's about 25%. 25% of students who enter a 4-year college complete in 5 years. So it's not even in 4 years, it's a 5-year period of time. So that tells me that something is happening where those students are not ready. They're not ready to do college, and they're looking for something else, and they may not be ready for that something else. I have dealt with far too many kids who graduate high school, and what happens is they end up in a cycle where they spend the next 3 to 5 years, from the ages of roughly 18 to 22 or 23, trying to get a grade. And it's heartbreaking to see it. That transition can be made much easier and much smoother for those students, and employers, importantly, can be feeling like they're hiring students who have basic skills. Skills where they come in and they don't have to do remediation, and showing up on time means 9 o'clock. Or you have to do procedures this way, and here's how you do them. Here's how you communicate. Here's how you write an appropriate email at your place of work. The programs that we run help both employers and students gain those skills. And mentorship, I think of mentorship as having a whole range of different forms. Mentorship can be sort of the traditional way we think of it, which is an older person or somebody with more experience takes the time to work closely with an individual to cultivate their inherent talents. That is such a vital role for both participants. It feels fantastic to mentor another person, because you realize until you begin taking on that teacher role, you don't know what you know. You don't necessarily know the full range of your experience. And one thing to consider is, how often does anybody ask you what you do or ask you about areas of your own expertise? I know that I don't often get asked that question. When I talk to professionals, when they begin, when I'm one of the few people who come to them and I say, tell me what you do and why you do it, what the best part is and what the worst part is of your job, and how you meet the challenges of your workplace. The gates just open up. People want to play that role with another person, to share their own expertise. So mentorship does a fantastic thing. It can take the form of even providing an internship to a student, where you play a role in guiding that person, offering them some opportunities to develop skills. You'd be amazed at how many people want to come back to a place of employment where they have been mentored effectively. It is a great way of cultivating talent. It also helps address one of the fundamental issues of being an adult in the world of work, which is, how good is the fit between your interests and skills and the job you're in? How many people feel like they are doing what they were born to do? Mentorship and the creation of opportunity for young people gives young people the ability to have experiences where they get to test that. I thought I wanted to work outside. Turns out I don't like the sun that much, or the bugs, or getting dirty. I love computers, but it turns out I don't want to stare at a computer screen all day. These are really important things for people to realize about themselves, and it is a great way, if you're playing that role as an employer, what's going to happen is you're going to be helping, as part of a whole community, you're going to be helping cultivate people who, when they come to you and they end up working for you, they're there because they really want to be. And that makes a better employee. So I would encourage participation in mentorship or internship programs as something you think of doing as part of your business plan. It's one of those kind of unspoken things, but what are you doing now to cultivate talent that's going to be employed by you in the next year to 2 years, or next 3 to 5 years? it should be something that just kind of a wheel that you turn as part of the business you do. Because what it will eventually result in, if enough employers are doing it, it's going to result in a really strong workforce.
Right, thank you. Stay here, you go up, do whatever you want.
I'm going to stay seated because so I'm from Zor Outdoor, and I guess I would just say that when we started Zor Outdoor, we thought we were starting a raft company. And about a few years into it, we had several experiences with young employees that were super challenging on our end, and I'm sure on their end as well, and that made us realize that we were really not just running a raft program, we were running what we started to sort of jokingly call a personal development program, right? Because we would get employees that wouldn't, as Matt was just describing, wouldn't understand fully that 9 o'clock meant 9 o'clock, or that you couldn't show up to work, having just rolled out of bed. You had to actually get up and have breakfast and be ready to do a full day of work. And those were things that we didn't really think were going to be part of running a business. They've now become a really major part of what we do, because we do understand now that we get a lot of employees who are great people and have great potential, but there's a lot that we need to do to help develop that potential. In addition, we're teaching a lot of hard skills. We're teaching them how to guide a raft, or how to guide a zipline tour, or something like that. And the hard skills are really important. But without the soft skills, without the work skills, the hard skills aren't that important and aren't that effective, because they can't implement them. A few things, and one other skill that I think is that we sort of underappreciate, and that 18-year-olds, when they first come to us, don't really understand they're going to have to use at work, is the skill of negotiation. We commonly have employees who have to work together doing various tasks, and they can be all the way from mundane to important and really critical to the day. But in all those tasks, they're next to somebody else, and they're working with somebody else. And sometimes the other person they're working with is someone they know and are friends with and get along with great, and other times not. And sometimes they have to actually both work together on the same task to get it accomplished at all. Other times they're working in parallel, and the faster the person next to me works, the faster we'll all get done. And there's a lot of negotiating that happens around that. The negotiating sometimes is sort of short term, and hey, you do that part, I'll do this part, we'll get it done faster. And sometimes it's longer term, that well, I can see that Charlie next to me is not really working up to speed, and I'm going to sort of keep it in for now, but later on I'm going to tell Charlie that next time he's got to work a little faster. So that negotiation becomes important, and over time, being able to talk to Charlie or talk to the supervisor or whatever and say, hey, this is what's happening, how do I deal with this, is really important. In addition, I think there's sort of the negotiating with the employer. There's a lot of things that employees require of an employer, and employers require of employees that can become complicated. When do I have to show up? I mean, sometimes it's not always at 9 o'clock. Sometimes you have to just get the job done. So when should I show up to get the job done? I showed up at 10 o'clock. Is that okay? I'm sick, on tomorrow. How do I deal with calling in sick, and how does that all work? And so a lot of those, we now understand that a lot of the jobs of our managers are coaches. They have to coach constantly. And I think once you understand that, it makes the job of managing different, and it also makes, I think, it much less frustrating, to understand that where people are coming from and where they're starting from. Another thing that we try to do is to get other employees to mentor each other. And I think there's we have a pretty wide age range. We can have raft guides all the way from 18 to, we have several that are in their 60s. And the 60-year-olds have a lot to teach the younger kids. in addition, the kids have a lot to bring to the 60-year-olds. You know, there's a lot of enthusiasm and sort of youthful energy that's important, and that helps that a lot. The final thing I'll say is just that the one thing that we really hope, and Matt had sort of hit on this a little bit about finding the career that's right for you, that you're calling. You know, we hope that our employees can love their job, and we hope that they'll also understand what loving your job is. My daughters both worked for us, and I think we were both of their first jobs, and in each case, you know, they would come home and they would love their job for a while, then they would hit the day that they didn't love their job, you know, because there was a day that it was maybe you're out, you know, you're a zipline guide and it's pouring rain, right? And not everybody loves that job on that day. And so they would come home, and it sort of spurred a talk with them about how, you know, loving a job means loving the whole thing, but not loving every little bit of it, right? And so that was an important discussion. And now that one of them at least is in the workforce and is, you know, is looking at what she wants to do long term, that's been an important learning for her to say, okay, you know, I need to find the job that I'm going to love overall. And I'm going to understand that there are going to be parts of it and times in it that I'm not going to, you know, not going to love, but I need to do. But overall, I should feel like it's a job that is satisfying, and that I feel like is meaningful, and that I enjoy doing. And that's, I think that's the ultimate. If we can mentor, help kids understand that that's what they should be looking for, I think we've done them a service.
Hi, I'm Craig White. What's that? Closer. All right, I'm Craig White. I'm one of the owners of Hillside Organic Pizza, and I'm one of the founders of the Inspire School for youth with autism. And so for our business, first I want to put a shout out to the CDC, John and Amy and Alan. We started our business there 18 years ago. We were one of the first users of the food processing facility. And I often say that we were able to make about $100,000, maybe $200,000 worth of mistakes without spending $200,000, thanks to their mentoring and helping us along the way. And then they keep plugging into our business. You know, we just recently sold part of the business, the catering part, and you know, we're going to borrow a little bit of money to put photovoltaics on the restaurant, have the power be, you know, who we are, organic and self-sustaining. And so anyway, so what we do for mentoring is, you know, we hire a lot of people in the recovery community. There's a huge amount of youth coming here. Closer. There's a huge amount of youth coming here for recovery. There's the New Hope Center. There's the Beacon House for men and women. There's a lot of young adults coming here. You know, we're all familiar with the opioid crisis, you know. Give a kid a job that's struggling, give somebody some hope. Huge thing for us to mentor. So on any given day, we could have on a catering gig or at our production company, we could have 15, 20 people in recovery that are mentoring each other and helping each other out. You know, if you want to help this opioid crisis, give a kid a job, give them some purpose. We found a lot of these folks, once they have that and they find that there is a vibrant recovery community, mentoring community, huge. And so another big part of our business is 10 years ago, we helped start a school for children with autism, the Inspire School in Brattleboro. So we put a ton of our resources there. We have 8 adults with autism working with us now who have aged out of our school or who have come to us from LifePath or Viability. There's you know, the ARC. We've hired these young adults with autism. And so we have these folks newly sober, newly in recovery, working with these folks with autism. You know, we're able to offer education through our school. We've been able to fundraise. We've had some unbelievable angel donors in the community who have helped us, you know, make the school happen and have resources to be able to send some of these young adults who are starting a new, maybe potential career path, you know, in the world of special ed. There's a great program up in Antioch where a lot of our one-on-ones who work, we have every one of our kids at school has a one-on-one, a full-time one-on-one, assistant educator, and you know, we have enough money to help send them to college. So it's been huge. It's been a huge program for us. And then, you know, walk into any of our restaurants on any given day, and there'll be folks in there with different abilities. Some folks with, so mentoring folks like that in the community. You want to talk about the best employees we have ever had? Hire somebody with a different ability. Unbelievable what those people bring to us. You know, so you tell that story. People support us because we're doing that. We don't put it out on a big banner that we're doing this, but they just help us. And they help these folks have a job. Because, you know, ultimately we're all business people, right? You have to make money to be able to do that, right? It doesn't, we can't just be altruistic because I don't want to take a paycheck home, right? So we have to make money. So, you know, so we've been able to help in so many ways in this community by mentoring these young adults. I'll tell you one thing with these folks with addiction issues, right? Real life issues, right? They stay here in the Valley. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of people. We have our original employee who started with us 18 years ago is still here with us today. And these people, their families come here, they rebuild their lives. This is a great place. You know, Franklin County is an incredible area for recovery. So we're grateful for the chance to help mentor some of these folks and give them a little chance in the world. So help us out, you know, hire some of these folks. Thanks.
Great. So that touches on a variety of ways that mentorship has impacted our community. Are there any questions out there that could be asked to our panelists? Maybe one?
Mine's not so much a question, but I just wanted to point out that if you haven't had the chance to go into Hillside and experience, you know, what Craig has going on there, it'll leave you with tears of joy. I mean, it's really a special thing. So I just wanted to, obviously, Grumpy Fox is right down the road, and if anyone hasn't seen me, I enjoy to eat pizza quite a bit. So I frequent Hillside often, and I've had the opportunity to go in there on those days, and it really is a special thing that's going on there. And like I said, it's hard not to leave without some tears of joy and some inspiration, and just I highly recommend checking it out sometime.
Any other comments? Great.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the panelists for being here. I'm Casey Pease. I might be one of the youngest person in the room. But my question is, so I'm a student at UMass Amherst. And a lot of young people that I speak with, a lot of my friends, are struggling with what you were talking about, Matt, which is they don't necessarily know what they want to do with their lives yet. Or they get pushed into a 4-year degree program, but they're studying something that they're not necessarily sure if that's what they're going to go into, right? So I guess my question is, how do we bridge that gap? And how can we get more young people to start at a younger age figuring out what do you want to do in the workforce and to have those skills?
That is such a great question. It's incumbent upon both the educational system and employers to make that happen starting at an earlier age. We advocate for that. We try to create those opportunities with school systems to really comprehend that, to offer as part of the whole arc of academic courses that they offer, to also offer courses that include job exploration, whether it's online or have career days where professionals come in, to create those opportunities and also link them to high quality internship placements in the community. I think starting early in high school, what you do is you give those students a second playing field in which to perform. For some students, the academic rigor and consistency of high school is not something that they can or want to sustain for 4 years. So by the time they're a junior or senior, they're checked out. If they have the opportunity of performing in the second area of a job or an internship, they find different parts of themselves to understand that, oh, you know, I may not be great at calculus, but I'm really good at this thing that I'm doing at my internship. It also helps them eliminate those things that they know they don't want to do. You know, I don't want to work in an office. I don't want to, you know, necessarily spend my life doing cashier work. You know, they will answer those questions. And it also begins that internal inquiry that they have to be part of themselves, is to say, like, well, what am I here to do? And so it just to start early on the education side is a great way to help kids do that. But they can't do it without employer participation. That's how you build the skills. So, you know, by the time you get to college, there should be less worry about, like, gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, about my direction in education, why I'm choosing this major, or how to get additional experience. I tell kids in high school now, your goal in this area of your life is to start racking up skill sets. Just line them up, start getting them. And that way you're also getting experience in what you're good at. You may be good at things you don't even know about, but it takes that experience. Thank you for that question, it's great.
Yeah, sure. I just want to also add that a few years ago I read a study that had come out that showed that fewer and fewer kids were working in the summers, and I think I have a lot of concerns around that, not least of which is that we have to hire people in the summer. But also I think that summer employment is a real is a way to explore what you want to do. So we have I'm thinking of my niece and her best friend from high school. Both started working for us in their freshman year of college in the summer. My niece worked for us for 1 year. It was not for her, and she doesn't work for us anymore. And she did various different things through college, and now is in a job that she loves, which has nothing to do with the outdoors. But she knows that the outdoors is not where she wants to work long term. Her friend worked for us for the whole 4 years of college. And then after she got out of college, kept working for us, and we hired her as a manager and worked for us for another 6 or 8 years, and was great, you know, and loved what she, you know, what we were doing and what she did, and it was for her. And so I think that that's a really important way to explore what you want to do, is try a lot of different things.
You can add to that. And we have another question after that. Great.
I just wanted to add, we know that we need to keep young people's career aspirations alive and do that earlier than high school, right? So we're funded to kind of come in and provide some extra supports because schools are full and they're doing a lot already. But middle schoolers, they're still aspiring, right? They're a lot of them are more in this kind of still dreaming place. I just supported a career day at a school in the area, and there was a marked difference between the engagement of the 7th and 8th graders, and the 9th and 10th graders. They were asking more questions, they were more excited and curious, and so what was that shift that happened? So parents bringing their kids into the workplace with them for a day, coming in and talking to a class, that's really important to kind of keep that, like I like to think of the work world as like this catalog of life, like ooh, all these possibilities, right? And keeping them connected to that, linking that all the time. I also just wanted to name a couple of amazing resources. MassCIS is a free site for Massachusetts residents. It's an amazing occupational research tool and has some other kind of work-related tools in there. We also have a site that we develop and maintain called fhyouth.org. It stands for Franklin Hampshire Youth.org. It's stacked with really, we hope, really helpful resources to help young folks start getting clear what they want to do and getting prepared to apply for jobs, etc. So we would love for people to be able to take advantage of those sites.
Love hearing about resources. Do you have another question?
Craig, I just wondered if you work with the sheriff's office or you do anything besides the mentally challenged or physically challenged and the recovery victims.
Yep, we have. We actually have hired from the pre-release. We've had people come, learn job skills with us as they're starting to transition. So we've hired some folks from the pre-release program at the jail, and we've had great success with that. Again, everybody just needs a break, right? They just need somebody to believe in them and give them a chance. And once you do that, these folks stay with you forever. We've got 2 folks long-term with us from the pre-release from the program at the jail.
I also like to sometimes think about this career development education work as preventative. right? Like getting that sense of purpose early on, right? Oh, I'm going towards this way. Oh, maybe now it's here and there, but having this focus, there's a lot of research that shows that work, right? Having work mediates. It takes care of a lot of anxiety issues for people. So just kind of putting that out there too, right? Like, can we reduce some of that?
Great. Thank you. We have another question? MJ was first.
What's the right door? If I'm an employer and I'm saying, oh, this sounds good to me, what's my first step? Who do I talk to? Where's the door into this type of new work relationship?
Actually, that was my question. That's my question too. Does anybody want to?
I think calling, if you have an organization like a regional employment board, like we do in Franklin, Hampshire County, you can start there. Because they'll direct you to school resources like myself, or like Shannon, who can help broker those relationships with schools. If you don't have a regional employment board type structure, businesses can reach out directly to schools, guidance offices.
I know if you're interested in mentoring a business owner, you reach out to the CDC because we are always looking to have a list of business owners or people working in institutions who are willing to talk with business owners. And then as we have the right connections, we'll make that match. So the CDC is a great resource if you're interested in talking with a startup or existing.
I hate to bring this up, but I'm wondering, Matt, particularly, you were urging high school students. So these are students under the age of 18. Can you talk a little bit about legal ramifications in terms of, for example, query checks with people who are supervisors? You know, what are some of the things that would be involved with mentoring or having an unpaid intern, for example, working one-on-one with someone in a situation where they were not necessarily supervised?
Great question. In a one-on-one situation, the adult would have to be queried if the student is under 18. In a group situation, the query is not required because the assumption is that the student will be among a group of people and that a background check isn't required in that situation. Employers often ask about employer liability, and they often put that up as a barrier for why they don't want to have somebody at their business that isn't a full employee. The state has looked into this, and to have that person be covered by your employer's liability is a really fractional cost. It's very, very small. What you do is if you're going to take somebody on, you call your insurer to say, I'm having this person as an intern. Typically they'll come back and say, okay, it's a couple of dollars maybe a month. So it's a very low cost to get covered for the liability piece. What I'm trying to encourage all employers to do is to change a mindset. Let's not offer unpaid internships anymore. Because what it does is it sends a message to the intern that what they're doing is not serious and what they're contributing has no value. And everyone knows you get what you pay for. So I am a firm believer in cultivating talent and paying for it because it benefits you. It benefits the employer, it benefits the community, it benefits the intern. And the state minimum wage is $11. It's not, even a 50 or 100 hour internship has super value, and it's not that expensive.
If you have to start out with an unpaid intern, the work-based learning plans I talked about that I'm thrilled to offer trainings on is a tool that documents that the intention of that work experience, that internship, is for the student's growth. So that's actually a tool that backs up the fact that you're not just, having them sweep, that you are defining some skills ahead of time that you expect from them, but also that they will gain. It's for a defined period of time, and that usually can kind of served to show that it was designed as a learning experience.
Yes, good morning. I sat here, I didn't quite make the birthday thing on April 17th next year, please schedule it for that. But this is not necessarily teen stuff. I got a couple questions on the teen, but we've worked together with Craig on several things, and I've known him for ages. And as an old man, I've learned an awful lot from him, just watching him take care of his kids. And like I said, I've seen him grow all the way up. Actually, I tried to steal someone's help, but I'd like to thank him for all he's taught us, just being a business person. Also, another thing is, I'm trying to figure out, nobody's mentioned, we just talked about internships unpaid. What are you supposed to, I was pretty upset when they moved the minimum wage to 11. Most guys, but if you're looking at somebody that's 13, 14 years old, how are you supposed to look at them? Or what kind of a pay schedule? You gotta pay them $11 an hour when you got some of the others that are right at that have been through college. They appreciate the job. I just wonder what kind of pay schedule you're looking at.
Thoughts on that?
Certainly getting your mileage in today. So if you could, just want to make sure I understand the question. How do you value the contribution of somebody who's really young, 13 or 14, versus somebody who you might want to bring in as a paid intern or a hire who is older? Is that the question? So you're saying, how do you value the?
Not necessarily value, but state goals we have to pay them.
We might have to address this later.
Yeah, I don't think the state is telling anybody that they have to pay interns.
Yeah.
That's not my understanding. I'm encouraging people to consider paying interns as a way of improving the quality of the internship for both the participant and the employer.
How do you differentiate,
How do you differentiate between an intern and an employee? It has to do with duration is part of it. The other has to do with the scope of what you're asking them to do. And I'm not saying strictly don't offer any unpaid internships. There are situations where if a student wants to come in, I think for a short-term placement, 50 hours, to get a look at the job and learn some of the skills, I think that's a fair exchange to say, like, come on, I'll show you the job, and you can get the experience, and we don't have to have a wage associated with it. I'm not opposed to that. But the trend has been that all internships are unpaid, and I think that extends through colleges, and I do think it's unfair.
Thanks. We're going to wrap this section up, but thank you so much for your questions and your thoughtfulness, and for the panel for being responsive to your questions and sharing your experience, because we learn a lot from it. I also, what I think about through this conversation is how business owners or people who are in business don't realize the impact that you have on a startup and existing. And I'd like to just share a quick story about our favorite, one of our favorite entrepreneurs, Dick Haas, who, when he first got started building his pellet machine, he made plastic jugs. He had no money, he had nothing, he just had a machine, and it was $1 went to another, and he had nothing in between. He organized an advisory committee, and I believe Joe Poirier was on that committee. And he would call the advisory committee at 10 o'clock and say, I don't know how I can get through to 12. And he'd coach them on, and then at 2, he'd call them back and say, I did it. I don't know how I'm going to get through to 5. And Joe would say, you can do it, and help him with these different decisions along the way. That's one example. of the impact that you can have on somebody who's just navigating these challenging situations for the very first time. And look what Dick Haas developed. Hillside plastic, Sugar Hill containers, and they're sold widely, and it's an amazing story. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to John Waite, who's got an important announcement for us.
Good morning. So this is one of my favorite times of the year. We get to announce our Entrepreneur of the Year. And before that, I want to invite everybody on May 10th is our Celebrating Entrepreneur event. It's going to be down in Hodgson Reed, May 10th at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night or something. There's flyers over here. And again, today's panel and everything we do, we talk about how wonderful Franklin County is, and a lot of it is because of our small businesses. Small businesses are the results of a lot of hard work, entrepreneurs, innovative people. And so 8 years ago, we started this Celebrating Entrepreneurs. And the qualifications to be an Entrepreneur of the Year is to have at least 3 or more employees, be in business for 5 years or more, and show a commitment to improving our community. And so this year's awardee is, get the flyer, Hager's Farm Market, and this morning we have Chip Hager and Kim Stevens of the Hager's Farm Market. So I just want to let you know we had a lot of nominations this year. We have a selection committee, the Chamber, Franklin County Chamber of Commerce, and the CDC led this charge. So Natalie and Ann Hamilton was on the committee. Janet Hawes, because we named this the Hawes Entrepreneur of the Year Award after Dick. Denise Coyne from the Savings Bank, Amy Shapiro, and last year's winner was PV Squared Solar. So that was the selection committee. They had to weed through a lot of good nominations. And just so you know, so that quickly, we're going to talk more about Hager's Farm Market on May 10th. But it started, the market started in 07, but the farm's been around, 5 generations, 18 employees. What they do to the community, what they give back. The pumpkin smash, has everybody been to that? That is fantastic. And they raise money for the 4-H club. They raise money for the Bay State Franklin and United Way every year. They donate a lot to the local schools. Schools are important to the family. And one of the things that's near and dear to my heart is at the Franklin County Fair. How can we have that fair without the fried dough and that maple syrup, that sugar on there? So those are some of the things. They're innovative. They went from dairy to maple farming. They raised meat. They have the orchard. They bought a popcorn company last year or 2 years ago. So great popcorn up there. And this year they're expanding. So there's going to be more indoor seating up there. So everybody can come to their restaurant and taste their great food. So again, congratulations to the Hager Farm Market, and we hope to see you all on May 10th. Thanks very much.
All of our productions at GCTV are sponsored in part by Bay State Health, providing the care you and your family need when you need it close to home. Visit them online at baystatehealth.org. Greenfield Savings Bank. Visit them at 400 Main Street in Greenfield. Call them at 774-3191 or go online to greenfieldsavings.com. Greenfield Community College, providing access and excellence in higher education in the Pioneer Valley. Visit them at gcc.mass.edu. The Hammond Family. The Hammond family are longtime supporters of Greenfield Community Television. New Fortune Chinese Restaurant on the Mohawk Trail in Greenfield. Visit them online at newfortunema.com. Call them at 772-0838 and check them out on Facebook. Real Cleaning Services, cleaning Hampshire and Franklin County since 1972. We don't cut corners, we clean them. Check them out online at realclean.com. Call them at 413-422-1143. People's United Bank, located at 45 Federal Street in Greenfield. You can call them at 774-3713 or visit them online at peoples.com. The Solar Store of Greenfield, replacing fossil fuels and nuclear power one home at a time. Visit them at 23 Fisk Ave, call them at 413-772-3122 or visit them online at solarstoreofgreenfield.com. Thank you to our sponsors for supporting all of GCTV's productions.